Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Friday, May 12th, 2023. Today, NBA and Stanley Cup playoffs, MLB, soccer, golf, NASCAR, American Idol, top 5 preview, news and notes, and best bet. We'll start the NBA playoffs. We will go over the results from yesterday and look ahead to a couple of big games over the weekend. Celtics stave off elimination and beat the Sixers 95-86 to force a Game 7. Marcus Smart had 22 points in the win with 7 assists. Joel Embiid had 26 and 10 in defeat. Jason Tatum really turned it on in the fourth quarter when they needed him to be great. He was bad all game until that point. And the Sixers scored only 13 points in the fourth quarter. So what a choke job by them. And the irony is that they were down 16 earlier in the game, which hurt them as well. And the Nuggets beat the Suns 125-100 to win the series in 6 and move on to the Western Conference Finals for the second time in 4 years. Nikola Jokic, 32 points, 10 boards, 12 assists. Campaign had 31 points and 6 boards in defeat. So we move on to tonight, 7:30, ESPN, Knicks Heat, Game 6. On the call, the game will probably be Mark Jones and Doris Burke, because Dave and Hubie had the Suns game last night. So we don't see who'll get that Miami Knicks Game 6. But anyway, I have Miami projected by 2.5, total 222 and 17/20. And we have 5.5 and 208. We'll take another over. I could see the final score of this game being similar to the final score in Game 5. I do think Miami closes out tonight. I did predict Heat in 6. But my pick for the game that I'm going to give out will be the over. And yours truly would probably put some money on the Knicks because I didn't have Heat in 6 as a bet. So maybe a small bet on New York against the spread. Warriors, Lakers, Mike Breen, Mark Jackson, Jeff Van Gundy on the call. Lakers winning, they're playing the Nuggets, and probably on Sunday. And if they lose, then Game 7 will be on Sunday. Actually, take that back. Game 1 of the Denver Lakers-Warriors winner will start on Tuesday. So that makes sense. So if the Lakers win tonight, that gives them some needed rest, especially after the Anthony Davis injury. But my projection here is Lakers 4.5 total, 233 and 3/10, and it's 2.5 and 221. I'll take the full game over too. I just think that it's going to be a high-scoring affair here, and it'll be a great game. Either Golden State or the Knicks, I think, is going to force a Game 7. I just don't know who. At gunpoint, I'm going to say Golden State because of the status of Anthony Davis and how he's going to look. And Steph Curry, I just think, is that superstar that just puts a team on his back and carries them to the promised land. So if I had to guess which underdog wins outright between Golden State and the Knicks, I'm going to say it is indeed Golden State, and then Miami will end the Knicks season. Alrighty then. Game 7, Sunday, May 14th. We don't know the time, and we don't know the network. But at gunpoint, I think it will be on ABC at probably 1 o'clock. Between the Sixers and the Celtics, Game 7. I project Celtics by 3.5, total 226.5. And I see the Celtics already open up as a 7.5 point favorite, total 202.5. I love the over. No doubt about it. I thought that was weird that game had that low of an output of points. Like 202.5, so they will brainer. I'll take the Sixers against the spread as well as a second pick. And I think Boston beats Philly, as Philly proved yet again to be another tease. And I'm going to say that we're going to be talking about on Monday the possibility of Doc Rivers moving on to somewhere else. All right, quickly before we move on, we have a postmortem to do. It's the Phoenix Suns. It's just wild for the second consecutive year. They go out in an ugly way at home. I feel like too many fans in the media and even people in their own vicinity will say, oh, we needed more time and yada yada. But guess what? Your season's a failure. Not like the Bucks, but it's still a failure. After you got Durant, people are calling you the West favorites. So, because you went out and got Durant, people thought you were the favorite in the conference, is why I consider the Suns a failure this season, even though they didn't have Chris or Ayton in Game 6. But the stars are supposed to carry you to the promised land in Booker and Durant. And they obviously did not. I do think Monty Williams will be back. I think they're just going to tweak their roster a little bit, try to get some bench help. I do think Ayton is a trade candidate for sure for the second consecutive year, because they're probably going to look at him as the fall guy. You got to wonder, Chris Paul, will he be on the Suns next year? I think the only guaranteed Suns for next year are Booker and Durant. That's it. So I'm curious to see what they do. But the biggest move they could probably make is probably trade DeAndre Ayton somewhere. And then they could fix the fringes a little bit. But the West is really good, and it's only going to get better. So, very, very tough spot for the Phoenix Suns. Right now, move on to hockey. We'll go over the results from yesterday's games and look ahead to today and the weekend. All right, yesterday, Canes over the Devils 3-2 in overtime on a game winner by Jesper Fast, the former Ranger. The number 3 started game at the goal. Brett Burns, number 2, started game with 27 saves on 29 shots. Frederick Anderson. And the number 1 started the game with the overtime winner, Jesper Fast. Stars over the Kraken 5-2 to take a 3-2 series lead. The number 3 started the game with 3 assists, Jason Robertson. Number 2 started the game with the goal and assist, Joe Pavelski. Number 1 started the game with 2 goals and an assist, Roop Hintz. All right, 7 o'clock TNT, Panthers, Maple Leafs. If the Leafs win this, boy, does this get interesting. And then if the Panthers win, they're off to the conference finals. So this is a very fascinating Game 5, in my opinion. Leafs are minus 176. The Panthers are plus 146. Over under 6.5. Overs minus 122. Unders even money. Panthers plus 1.5 is minus 156. Leafs minus 1.5 is plus 130. This is a tough one. So here I'm going to go with under 3.5 Maple Leafs goals at minus 102. And the late night game on TNT, it's the Oilers and the Golden Knights. It's a big one. Edmonton's minus 128. Vegas is plus 106. Over under 6.5. Overs minus 144. Unders plus 118. Oilers minus 1.5 is plus 180. Golden Knights plus 1.5 is minus 220. Vegas. We'll see about Alex Pietrangelo. And Darnell Nurse is suspended. So that's a big loss for Edmonton. But Vegas needs the game. They're home. And I think if they lose tonight, they're in trouble. So I'm going to take the Vegas Golden Knights at plus 106 to knock off the Oilers to take a 3-2 series lead. All right, Saturday, 7 o'clock on ESPN, you have the Stars and the Kraken. The Stars are minus 154. The Kraken are plus 128. Over under 5.5. Overs minus 132. And there's plus 108. Stars minus 1.5 is plus 162. Kraken plus 1.5 is minus 196. I really think this is going to be a close game and a lower scoring game. Kraken face an elimination at home. I like full game under 5.5 at plus 108. And then Sunday, if necessary, a game 6 between the Maple Leafs and the Panthers. That would be absolutely bonkers if the Panthers are hosting a game 6. But it's not unreasonable because the Leafs are favored tonight. And then also you have the Golden Knights at the Oilers, game 6. Elimination game for somebody. We don't know who yet. So it's going to be an interesting weekend of hockey, to say the least. All right, now we'll move on to MLB. We'll go over the results from yesterday and look ahead to today and the weekend. Reds over the Mets 5-0. Twins over the Padres 5-3. Royals over the White Sox 4-3. Rays over the Yankees 8-2. Giants over the D-backs 6-2. And the Rangers over the A's 5-0 or 4-0. All right, only night games tonight. 6:30 of the Reds at the Marlins. Graham Ashcraft and Yuri Perez. And Perez is making his big league debut. The Marlins are minus 142. The Reds are plus 120. Over under 7.5. Overs minus 115. Unders minus 105. Reds plus 1.5 is minus 164. Marlins minus 1.5 is plus 136. Graham Ashcraft might end up being an all-star this season. He's pitching really well. So I'm going to go under 4 Marlin runs at minus 118. Mariners, Tigers. Marco Gonzalez and Matt Boyd. Mariners minus 120. Tigers plus 102. Over under 8.5. Overs minus 120. Unders minus 102. Mariners minus 1.5 is plus 132. Tigers plus 1.5 is minus 160. You can argue Matt Boyd's been better than Marco Gonzalez this year, thus far. But for this one, I'll go over 4 Tiger runs, minus 110. All right, 7 o'clock, you have the Mets at the Nats. Tyler McGill and Mackenzie Gore. Mets minus 134. Nats plus 114. Over under 9. Overs minus 104. Unders minus 118. Mets minus 1.5 is plus 122. Nats plus 1.5 is minus 146. This is a tough one. But I'm going to go under 3 Nats runs, minus 112. Rays, Yankees. Trevor Kelly and Garrett Cole. Yanks minus 178, Rays plus 150, over under 8, overs minus 105, unders minus 115. Rays plus 1/2 is minus 144, Yankees minus 1/2 is plus 120. This is somewhat of an easy one. I'm going to go under 3 Rays runs at plus 108. Pirates Orioles, Johan Oviedo and Kyle Bradish. O's minus 154, Pirates plus 130, over under 8.5. Overs minus 122, unders even money. Pittsburgh plus 1/2 is minus 154. Orioles minus 1/2 is plus 128. So for this one, I'm going to go over 4 Pirates runs, minus 102. Jays Braves, or it's from Toronto actually. Spencer Strider and Chris Bassett. Braves minus 156, Blue Jays plus 132, over under 8.5. Overs minus 105, unders minus 115. Braves minus 1/2 is plus 104. Blue Jays plus 1/2 is minus 125. So for this one, I'm going to do over 3.5 Braves runs, minus 110. Next up, we have the Angels at the Guardians. Tyler Anderson and Logan Allen. Guardians minus 136. Angels plus 116, over under 8.5. Overs minus 118, unders minus 104. Angels plus 1/2 is minus 182. Guardians minus 1/2 is plus 150. Logan Allen actually has been okay. As a starter. So for this one, I'm going to go with under 4 Angel runs at minus 115. Cardinals Red Sox from Fenway. Adam Wainwright and James Paxton making his season debut. Red Sox are slight favorites, minus 116. Cards are minus 102, over under 10.5. Overs minus 122, unders even money. Cardinals minus 1/2 is plus 146. Boston plus 1/2 is minus 178. So Cardinals favored on the run line. Red Sox favored on the money line. That's weird. So for this one, it's kind of an auto play. But I'm going to go Cardinals over 5.5 runs at even money because of James Paxton. 8 o'clock, Apple TV Plus, Cubs Twins. Drew Smyly and Sonny Gray. Twins minus 154, Cubs plus 130, over under 8. Overs minus 102, unders minus 120. Cubs plus 1/2 is minus 156. Twins minus 1/2 is plus 130. For this one, I'm going to go with under 3.5 Cubs runs, minus 118. Astros White Sox for the second time this year. JP France and Michael Kopech. Astros minus 144. White Sox plus 122. Over under 9. Overs minus 106. Unders minus 114. Astros minus 1/2 is plus 112. White Sox plus 1/2 is minus 134. So for this one, because of the uncertainty of JP France, over 4 White Sox runs, even money. Apple TV Plus again, Royals Brewers. Josh Taylor and Corbin Burns. Milwaukee minus 235. Casey plus 194, over under 8.5, minus 125. Royals plus 1/2 is minus 111. Brewers minus 1/2 is minus 108. Full game over, but I don't feel good about it. Phillies Rockies at 8:30. Taijuan Walker and Austin Gomber. Phils minus 148. Rockies plus 126, over under 11.5. Overs minus 112. Unders minus 108. Phillies minus 1/2 is minus 102. Rockies plus 1/2 is minus 118. For this one, I'm going to go over 6 Phillies runs, minus 115. That's a high one, but I'm going to do it. 9:30 Giants D-backs. John Brebbia and Ryan Nelson. San Francisco's minus 116. Arizona's minus 102. Over under 10. Overs minus 105. Unders minus 115. Giants minus 1/2 is plus 132. D-backs plus 1/2 is minus 160. So for this one, I'm going to go full game over. Rangers A's. Martin Perez, Ken Waldichuk. Rangers minus 194. A's plus 162. Over under 8.5. Overs minus 120. Unders minus 102. Texas minus 1/2 is minus 108. A's plus 1/2 is minus 111. For this one, I'm going to go with over 5 Ranger runs at even money. And last but not least, MLB Network tonight, Padres, Dodgers, Blake Snell, Dustin May. Dodgers minus 138, Padres plus 118, over under 9, overs minus 112, unders minus 108. Padres plus 1/2 is minus 170, Dodgers minus 1/2 is plus 140. For this one, I'm going to go with over 4.5 Dodger runs at minus 112. All right, to the weekend. Saturday, 1 o'clock, you have the Rays at the Yankees. Shane McClanahan, Nestor Cortez, 1:10. Reds, Marlins, Nick Lodolo, Sandy Alcantara. Mariners, Tigers. Bryce Miller, Alex Fado. 2 o'clock, Cubs, Twins. Hayden Wisniewski, Joe Ryden. 3 o'clock, Braves, Blue Jays. Bryce Edler, Josh Barrios. 4 o'clock, Mets, Nats. Joey Lucchese and Trevor Williams. Fox Sports 1, Rangers, A's. John Gray, JP Sears. Cards, Red Sox. Steven Matz, Chris Sale. 6 o'clock, you have the Angels at the Guardians. Reed Demers, Cal Quantrill. 7 o'clock, you have the Pirates at the Orioles. Rosny Contreras and Tyler Wells. Royals, Brewers. Zach Greinke, Adrian House. They're on Fox. You have Astros, White Sox. Brandon Bielak and Dylan Cease. And Padres, Dodgers, which is probably going to be the Joe Davis, John Smoltz game. Joe Musgrove and Julio Urias. 8 o'clock, Giants, D-backs. Anthony DeSclafani and Zach Gallen. And Phillies, Rockies. Ranger Suarez making his season debut against Ryan Feltner. So the Phillies are starting to get some guys back from injury, so that's good. All right, 11:30 on Peacock, you have the Angels at the Guardians. Patrick Sandoval, Tanner Bebe. 1:30, Rays, Yankees. Zach Eflin, Clark Schmidt. Mets, Nats. Luno's going for the Mets, and Jake Irvin's going for Washington. Pirates, O's. Mitch Keller and Kyle Gibson. Blue Jays hosting the Braves. We don't know who's going for Atlanta, and it's Yusei Kikuchi for Toronto. Reds, Marlins. Luke Weaver, Braxton Garrett. Mariners, Tigers. Logan Gilbert, Joey Wentz. 2 o'clock, you have the Cubs at the Twins. Marcus Stroman, Louis Varland. Astros, White Sox. Hunter Brown, Lucas Giolito. Royals, Brewers. Jordan Lyles, Freddie Peralta. 3 o'clock, Phil's Rockies. Aaron Nola, Kyle Freeland. You have the Rangers at the A's at 4. You have Andrew Heaney and Drew Rucinski. And then you have Padres, Dodgers, Michael Wacha, Tony Gonsolin. Giants, Diamondbacks, Logan Webb, Brandon Pifad. And then on Sunday Night Baseball this week, you have the Cardinals against the Red Sox, Miles Mikolas and Corey Kluber, which is an interesting Sunday Night Baseball choice. Get the Red Sox getting some love a little bit, but that was probably on the schedule before the season. All right, now move on to soccer. We'll go over the results of notable games from yesterday, and we have a big weekend to look ahead to today. So we will start with La Liga. All right, today, 3 o'clock, you have Mallorca and Cadiz. Mallorca's plus 115. Cadiz is plus 290. Draws 190. So for this one, I'm going to do Mallorca at home at plus 115. Saturday, 8 o'clock, Real Sociedad Girona, 10:15, Osasuna Almeria, 12:30, Villarreal Athletic, 3 o'clock, Real Madrid Getafe. Sunday, 8 o'clock, Celta Vigo and Valencia, 10:15, Elche and Atletico, 12:30, Valladolid and Sevilla, and 3 o'clock, Espanyol and Barcelona. Bundesliga today, 2:30, Cologne and Hertha. Cologne's minus 120, Berlin's plus 290, draws plus 270. I'm going to go with under 2.5 goals at plus 112. All right, so Saturday, 9:30, Union Berlin and Freiburg, Bayern and Schalke, Frankfurt, Mainz, Bochum, Augsburg, Wolfsburg, Hoffenheim, and 12:30, you have Dortmund and Gladbach. And then Sunday, 9:30, you have Stuttgart and Leverkusen, and 11:30, you have RP Leipzig and Bremen. Dutch Eredivisie. Today at 2 o'clock, you have FC Twente and NEC. So FC Twente is minus 260. NEC is 5-1. The draw is 370. So over 3.5 goals plus 122. Saturday, 12:45, FC Volendam Sparta, 2 o'clock. Heerenveen and Excelsior, 3 o'clock, FC Utrecht and RKC Waldwick. And then Sunday, 6:15, Vitesse and Camber, 8:30, FC Groningen Ajax, Feyenoord Go Ahead Eagles, 10:45, 2 o'clock, AZ Alkmaar and Emmen, and PSV Fortuna. League One. So Friday, 3 o'clock, you have Lens and Reims. For this one, we got Lens minus 210, Reims 5-1, draws 350. So for this one, I'm going to go over 3.5 goals at plus 164. Saturday, 11 o'clock, Strasbourg and Nice, and 3 o'clock, PSG and AC Ajaccio. Sunday, 7 o'clock a.m., Clermont-Foot Lyon. 9 o'clock, Brest and Auxerre. Montpellier, Laurent, Rennes, Troyes, Toulouse, Nantes. 11 o'clock, Monaco, Lille, and 2:45, Marseille and Angers. Serie A, 2:45, you have Lazio and Lecce. Lazio's minus 150, Lecce's plus 460, draws plus 250. That's a hard one. I'm going to go with over 2.5 goals at plus 136. Saturday, 9 o'clock, Salernitana and Atalanta. 12 o'clock, Spezia and Milan. And 2:45, you have Inter Milan and Sassuolo. And then Sunday, 6:30, you have Verona and Torino. 9 o'clock, Fiorentina, Udinese. Monza, Napoli. 12 o'clock, Bologna, AS Roma. And 2:45, you have Juventus and Cremonese. The NWSL, we have a couple games tonight. 7:30, you have Louisville and Chicago. Louisville's plus 180, Chicago's plus 140, draws plus 240. I'm going with the draw plus 240. And then 8:30 of Houston and Portland. Houston's plus 270, Portland's minus 110, the draws plus 270. I'm going to go with Portland and minus 110. Don't feel good about it. All right, Saturday, 10 o'clock, Angel City, Washington. And Sundays, 3 o'clock, North Carolina, OL Reign. 5:30, Gotham against Orlando. And 6 o'clock, Kansas City against San Diego. Liga MX from yesterday, Audalas over Guadalajara 1-0 first leg. And Tigres over Toluca 4-1 first leg. All right, 9 o'clock you have Monterrey and Santos. They're tied on aggregate. And then 11 o'clock you have America and Athletic San Luis. And America leads 3-1 on aggregate. And then Sunday, 2 o'clock, Toluca and Tigres. Tigres leads 4-1 on aggregate. And then 9 o'clock, you have Guadalajara and Atlas. Atlas leads 1-0 on aggregate. English Premier League, Saturday, 7:30 of Leeds and Newcastle. 10 o'clock, Aston Villa, Tottenham. Chelsea, Nottingham Forest. Crystal Palace, Bournemouth. Man United, Wolves. And Southampton, Fulham. And then Sunday, 9 o'clock, Brentford, West Ham at 9. Same for Everton, Man City at 11:30 of Arsenal and Brighton. And then UEFA from the other day, I don't remember if we touched on this, but Inter Milan beat Milan 2-0 in the Champions League semifinals. And then I want to touch on the English League Championship real quick for the weekend. So, Championship first leg, 12:30, you have Sunderland and Luton. And then Sunday, Championship first leg, 7 o'clock, you have Coventry and Borough. And then MLS for the weekend coming up. All right, 1 o'clock. You have Chicago, St. Louis, 7:30, Atlanta, Charlotte, CF Montreal, Toronto, Columbus, Orlando, DC United, Nashville, Miami, New England, Red Bulls, NYCFC, so good rivalry game. 8:30, Austin, Dallas, Houston, Seattle, Kansas City, Minnesota, Colorado, Philly at 9:30, as well as Salt Lake, LAFC, and then 10:30, Portland, Vancouver. And then Sunday at 9:30, you have the Galaxy against San Jose. Also, we have a couple of games on Wednesday, the 17th. So, got to remember that on the Wednesday podcast for next week. All right, now we'll look at the current leaderboard for the AT&T Byron Nelson. We will look at that real quick. In first right now, with the score of 11 under, saying you'll know. Tied for second with 9 under, Ryan Palmer and Scotty Scheffler. Tied for fourth with 8 under, you have Adam Scott and Sichung Du. Tied for sixth with 7 under, Richie Rensky, Luke Wist, Doc Redman, Scott Stevens, Scott Piercy, Jason Day, Siwoo Kim. Tied for 13th at 6 under, Doug Ginn, Mackenzie Hughes, Eric Cole, David Micheluzzi, Taylor Hogue, Joachim Herman, Stefan Yeager, and Justin Lauer. Tied for 21st with 5 under, Herrick Norlander, Sangbun Bay, Pat Kazir, Andrew Novak, Kevin Tway, Chad Ramey, Hideki Matsuyama, Andrew Nunez, Augusto Nunez, Sean O'Hare, Bryce Garnett, Sung-Hoon Kang, Dylan Wu, Sung-Hun Kim, Bayoung-Hun An. Tied for 35th with 4 under, James Hahn, Cheng-Sun Pong, Nate Lashley, Matt Kuchar, Grayson Sieg, Adam Hadwin, Chasen Hadley, Trevor Cohn, Jonathan Bird, Joseph Vermette, Davis Riley, Tyson Alexander, and Harry Hall. Tied for 48th with 3 under, Christian Ziedenhout, Austin Cook, Chris Stroud, Scott Brown, Matt Neesmith, Tyrell Hatton, Robert Strub, Aaron Weiss, Adam Schenk, Sodi Kudiara, Justin Sue, Roger Sloan, Scott Harrington, Brent Grant, Seamus Power, Will Gordon, Robbie Shelton, Fabian Gomez, Bill Haas, Vincent Norman, and Pierce Hassan Cootie. Tied for 69th to 2 under, Ryan Moore, Kevin Chappell, Minwoo Lee, Ryan Brem, Wesley Bryan, Matthias Schwab, Michael Kim, Kelly Craft, Cootie just dropped, Parker Cootie, Estelonzo Goya, Kevin Roy, Kyle Stanley, Grayson Chalmers, Garrick Higo, Bobby Massa, Jimmy Walker, Robert Garrigus, Cam Piercy, Taylor Gainey, Harrison Endicott, Michael Giljick, and Austin Eckroat. Tied for 91st with one under. We're going to go through just notables now. Cam Champ, Tyler Duncan, Scott Stalling, Charlie Hoffman, Taylor Montgomery, Brandon Wu, Dylan Fratelli, Kyle Westmoreland, Carson Young. Tied for 104th at even. Alex Baddeley, Trey Mullinax, Austin Smotherman, Adam Long, Davis Lipsky, Max McGravy, Harry Higgs, Russell Knox, Lucas Glover, Matt McNeely, Aaron Wright, Trevor Warblow. Tied for 123rd at 1 over. Kramer Hickok, Bo Van Pelt, Nate Watney, JJ Colleen, Paul Haley, Jason Duffner, Ben Griffin, DJ Tran, Ryan or Moore, Evan Van Royen. Tied for 134th with 2 over. Stuart Stink, Vincent Whaley, Kevin Stradler, MJ Dauphe, Matthias Schmid, Jonathan Blix. Tied for 146 with 3 over. D.A. Points, Brian Stored. 150th with 4 over Ben Crane. Tied for 151st with 5 over Troy Merritt. 153rd with 6 over Andrew Landry. And the funny thing is that the guy I picked, Ryan Palmer, is in second, which is pretty surreal. So he's 2 under for the round through 7. So we got to keep our eye on that one, because that was a freaking long shot, and he's in second. All right, now we'll move on to NASCAR. And pick some races. I don't know how the schedule works this week because of Mother's Day. So we have trucks tonight from Darlington on Fox Sports 1. Xfinity tomorrow 1:30 on Fox from Darlington. And then Cup on Sunday on Fox Sports 1 from Darlington. Why is Xfinity on Fox and not the Cup? Make sense of that. All right, so we have 3 races. So we're going to do a fifth of a unit per pick. We'll start with trucks from good old Darlington. So Darlington last year, your winner was John Hunter Nemechek. And I believe Darlington had a second race last year, too. It looks like they did not for trucks. So, my pick for this race this year, William Byron's the favorite, plus 240. That's too big of a favorite. But the guy who came in second last year is 20-1. That's Carson Hosfar. I think that's really good value on Carson Hosfar at 20-1 to win the Buckle Up South Carolina 200 from Darlington. All right, Xfinity. So that race will be tomorrow 1:30 on Fox from Darlington. So Justin Allgaier won the race in Darlington last year. So it looks like it's oh, they did do Darlington twice last year. So Noah Gragson won once there. And the other race was Justin Allgaier. And the favorite for this year's race is Kyle Larson at plus 225. That's ridiculous that Larson's a favorite. Like, he's so overvalued in this race. It's not even funny. So somebody I have my eye on for this race is somebody that did very well here last year. He came in eighth. I don't know if I want to go with Josh Berry at plus 850. I didn't realize he was that valued. So all the guys I want to look at are either promoted into the next level or are overvalued in the market. But somebody I'm looking at is Brandon Jones. He came in 7th last year in the spring Darlington race. And he came in 14th in the fall Darlington race. So I'm going to go with a little bit of a long shot here and take Brandon Jones at 28-1 to win the Shriners Children's 200. And then last but not least, the Cup Series from Darlington on Fox Sports 1 at 3 o'clock. So last year's fall race winner was Eric Jones, and the spring race last year went I guess we didn't have a spring race in Darlington last year. Unless it was earlier in the year. It was a little bit earlier in the year. Joey Logano won the spring race last year. There's a driver that I like who had success there in the Xfinity Series. He's 11-1. I'm going to take my chance with Chris Bell at 11-1 to win the Goodyear 400 in Darlington. All right, American Idol. We're down to the final 5, and it's going to be Disney Night. Disney Night's one of my favorite nights of the entire season on American Idol. We are down to Weani, Megan Daniela, Ian Tongi, Zachariah Smith, and Colin Staub. That is a really, really good final 5. And then the journey to the finale is Monday at 9 o'clock. And then the big season finale is a week from Sunday at 8 o'clock. I wonder if it's going to be a 3-hour show. So, it's going to be a lot of fun. So, I'm going to look back on the show a little bit in top 5 and see what the top 5 did. So, last year's top 5 did Contestant's Choice and Carrie Underwood. But I wonder if they're going to uh, do a contestant choice. So they're probably going to do 2 Disney songs. So let's start with Megan Danielle. What could I picture her singing? I would love to see her sing Let It Go from Frozen. I think that fits Megan very well. She can hit like those falsetto notes. That's just perfect for Megan Danielle. I want to see her perform Let It Go. And another song I would like to see her perform, if they're allowed to do like soundtrack songs that are really just in credits and whatnot, I want to see her perform Ever After by Carrie Underwood, ironically enough. I think she would fit that really good. That's from Enchanted. We Ani. I want to see her perform Zero to Hero from Hercules. I think that fits her really good. And the other one, I'd like to see her perform. I really want to see her perform Beauty and the Beast. I think that would be really, really good for her as well. I almost said Warren P. Colin Stow. I want to see him like go a little like outside his comfort zone a little bit. I think Circle of Life would fit a lot of people. I think it would fit him, and I think it would fit the girls as well. But I would like to see Colin perform a ballad. And I want to see him perform the Can You Feel the Love Tonight by Elton John. I think that would be a really interesting performance for Colin. And I could see Zachariah doing that song too. And another Colin song. I mean, I would love to see like a Whole New World duet with Zachariah and Megan. I think that would be a lot of fun if those two did a duet. And I have a perfect Zachariah song in mind, but I'm going to reveal that in a second. But another good Colin song, I think, would be Wanna Be Like You from the Jungle Book. And I could totally singing You Got a Friend in Me. So let's do You Got a Friend in Me for Colin. I don't know if I really like the Jungle Book fit for Colin. So Elton John, Can You Feel the Love Tonight? And I'd like to see Colin perform You Got a Friend in Me. Although if Warren P was still in the competition, I think that would have been perfect for him. Zachariah, I would love to see him sing Prince Ali from Aladdin. I think that fits Zachariah so good. I would love to see that. And then another one I want to see him sing is I thought about Bare Necessities, but I don't know if I like that for him. But a good one for Zachariah would be Donny Osmond's song, Let's Get Down to Business to Defeat the Huns. I could totally see Zachariah singing that song. I'll Make a Man Out of You. That screams Zachariah. That and Prince Ali. And last but not least, who I think is the front runner to win it all, Ian Tongi. He's going to sing Circle of Life. You just know he is. And I think he should sing Elton John's close to an Elton John rendition rather than closer to the actual Circle of Life song that you see in the intro to The Lion King. I'd love to see Ian perform Circle of Life. That fits Ian really well. And there's a couple other ones that jump out for Ian, but that one more than most. And I could see him doing like his own little version of It's a Small World. Wouldn't that be like really like Ian Tongi to come up with his rendition of It's a Small World? But I do think Circle of Life is the best fit for Ian. And another one, I could see Zacharias singing Friend Like Me from Aladdin, but I think Prince Ali's perfect for him. But could you see Ian going like outside the box and doing like Be Our Guest or something like that? Like that would be kind of fun as well. But yeah, there's a lot of options for these contestants on the table. And it's just fun to think about what song each contestant might perform. And another potentially Mtongi song might be If I Had Nothing, If I Didn't Have You. Like, that would be kind of a fun Ian Tongi song. As well. But another good one for Ian Tongi would be When You Wish Upon a Star. You know what? That's what I'm going to go with. I think he's going to do When You Wish Upon a Star and Circle of Life. So there you have it for Idol songs, but who moves on? This is the hard one. Alright, so my first pick into the top 3 is Ian Tongi. Like, come on. He's going to go to the top 3. My second pick is going to be Wee Ani. I think Wee is a beautiful singer, and I think she has the best chance to unseat Ian Tongi to win the competition. The third spot's wide open. It wouldn't shock me if any of the 3 got it. So it'd be really, really hard to predict the third person. But I'm going to go with, I think, the contestant that's improved the most this season from Hollywood to now and even auditions to now. And that's Megan Danielle. I'm going to go with Megan Danielle into the top 3 with Ian Tongi and Wee Ani. So I'm looking forward to Sunday's episode for sure. All right, now move on to news and notes. That was a long Idol conversation because that's a really good episode coming, and there's so many good contestants. So, obviously, we did the Suns postmortem in today's show. The Suns are expected to shop Chris Paul. It's pretty likely that Paul will play for a different team next season as guaranteed salary doubles on June 28th. Oof. Yeah. Like I said, the only 2 players that are guaranteed to be Phoenix Suns next year are Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. I think Paul's gone, potentially. Ayton's going to be gone. And what the Suns really should do is see if they can get some young players and even some draft picks because they lost a lot of picks in the Kevin Durant deal. The Celtics started a big man lineup against the Sixers. We'll see if they go back to it for Game 7. Devin Booker, an awful look for him. He left the arena after his son's season ended in a blowout loss. He didn't even speak to the media. That is an awful look for Devin Booker. And we talk about, oh, what a good superstar he is. Guess what? That's a terrible look on him. Terrible. And I thought that somebody that's not really a star in Julius Randle's had a tough time in terms of his maturity and whatnot throughout these playoffs. I'm sorry. Not speaking to the media is worse than saying they wanted it more than we did. So, awful look for Devin Booker. And then Suns fans were obviously leaving early. Reggie Bullock trolls the Suns as he was hype after he watched Phoenix get smacked, after he was a part of the first of the two big blowouts in home elimination games for them. Mark Jackson apologizes to Nikola Jokic as he said leaving the Joker entirely off his MVP ballot was a mistake. Not a good look for Mark Jackson. LeBron was called out on Instagram by JaMychal Green as he calls cap on LeBron's flopping claim. And he also shut down the flopping thing as he dismisses Steve Kerr's comments during yesterday's post-game presser, or 2 days ago's. Anthony Davis expected to play, barring a setback against the Warriors tonight, so that's good news. Andrew Wiggins questionable for tonight with a left coastal cartilage fracture. That's not good for Golden State. And DeAndre Ayton didn't even play last night with a rib contusion. St. John sued for $46 million as Mike Anderson alleges university fired him to avoid buyout and used money towards hiring Pitino. He kind of has a point. Mike Anderson, the ex-St. John's coach, kind of has a point. But I think there's more to this. There is no shot that Shohei Ohtani is traded. Angels would have to completely collapse before August 1st deadline to consider moving Ohtani. I think there's a more likelier chance they move Ohtani because they said the same crap about Juan Soto last year, and guess what? He got traded. And there's also no chance the Yankees are sellers at the trade deadline. There are 9 back of the AL East. Yesterday when this was reported, there were 8 back. But it's still very early in the season. They're getting a lot of guys back, so I don't see it either. The only way I see it is if Judge gets hurt again, Rodon doesn't come back, Garrett Cole gets hurt. Like the entire team might have to be hurt again. And they're like 500 on July 17th or something like that. Or under 500 on July 17th. For that to be the case. Also, Max Scherzer hopeful for Saturdays. He's hopeful to return to the mound this weekend after missing Tuesday's game with neck spasms. Brutal news for the Texas Rangers. Jacob deGrom out another 2 to 3 weeks due to elbow inflammation. Really not good for the Texas Rangers and their rotation, their big free agent prize. Tom Brady is eyeing Raiders ownership. He's in deep discussions to become a limited partner of the franchise. That's wild. That's something that I certainly did not expect. And then something in college basketball we forgot to mention, speaking of St. John's, they landed Jordan Dingle after his transfer from Penn. He averaged over 23 a game last season, so that's a good pickup for Rick Pitino's team. So Brian Reynolds' Sens bid has been canceled as his request for an exclusive window to complete deal was denied. We talked about Darnell Nurse's suspension for instigating in the final 5 minutes of regulation of Game 4. Henrik Lundqvist shuts down questions about being the Rangers' next head coach. And then the U.S. Open Cup round of 16 draw took place. So the Central region, you have the Houston Dynamo against the Minnesota United FC. You have Austin Fire against Chicago FC. I should say Austin FC against Chicago Fire. Northeast region, you have the Red Bulls against Cincinnati. You have the Pittsburgh Riverhounds of the USL against the Columbus Crew. That's Northeast. Southeast, you have Inter Miami against Nashville. And then Birmingham Legion FC against Charlotte. And in the West region, you have LAFC and LA Galaxy. That's a big one. And then the Rapids against Real Salt Lake. So that's it for the 16. So we'll see how this plays out in a couple of weeks. All right, last but not least, my best bet of the day brought to you by FanDuel. There's a couple that I thought of for possibilities for best bet. I really didn't love anything in baseball. I know, by the way, Miami's up to 6 against the Knicks, and the Lakers are up to 3 against Golden State. So those are better numbers, or at least the Knicks game is a better number to bet on the Miami in 6. But I have to find Lakers money line to put in with a couple of things to hedge Warriors in 7. So for best bet, I wanted to go with the under in the Phils-Rockies game, but under 11.5 is minus 120. So there's a couple in soccer that I liked for best bet. And the one that jumped out at me was actually in La Liga. Mallorca is plus 120 at home against Cadiz. And Cadiz is all the way at the bottom. And Mallorca is in 12th. So they're really not that far apart in the standings, but Cadiz has such a terrible goal differential, and Mallorca's isn't all that bad. So I'm going to take a chance here and put a half unit on Mallorca in La Liga at plus 120 against Cadiz for best bet. All right, so that's it for the show. We'll be back on Monday recapping everything. You look ahead to everything coming up on Monday. We're going to try to do some baseball power rankings. We haven't done them in a while. And I want to do some other fun activities with you guys as well. Have a great day and weekend, everyone.